Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet from me is...
I am Rody John, and across the interwebs from me is...
Amy.
In today's show, we talk to Taylor Loudermilk from Maggie's Farm about his favorite foods they grow on the farm, what local farmer markets they sell their food at, and the expansion of the farm.
We also talked to Michael Gruber, your sound guy and DJ for the Dallas Stars and your Texas Rangers, about working alongside the legendary Chuck Morgan, working to no crowds, and what it was like working for your Western Conference final champions, the Dallas Stars.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, bring that Stanley Cup home.
Oof, I hope so.
It's only been 20 years, but that's okay.
Hey.
They're back in it now. They got a shot.
At least they gone that far.
That's true. None of the. I guess the Rangers have been in 20 years, in the last 20 years, but
the Mavs have won one within the last 20 years.
That's fair. Cowboys looking at you.
Come on now.
You got a new coach. Make it happen. So, what has everyone been up to?
Well, I haven't been doing much. I unfortunately did not eat local like I'm supposed to. We stopped in and ate BJ's. It is in the Highlands, and it was delicious, and it was socially distanced, and it was good. In addition to that, we had last night we introduced Rody to Pollo Reggio.
You've never had Pollo Reggio?
I had not, and it's
delicious.
delicious.
Man, did you have the half chicken?
No, I had the tacos. I had one of each.
They're good. The half chicken is my favorite. Such a big meal.
The combo taco. You can also get like a whole carne asada meal with like tortillas and an onion and like pico and your meat, and it's more than enough for two people. I got the chicken quesadilla. We love the rice because they make it like in chicken broth, and it takes a little bit longer than a normal fast food restaurant would, but to me it's worth it. It was so good, and I ordered in Spanish.
Sí.
Yes. Dos número ochos, no frijoles, con dos arroz.
I like that you rolled your R on the last one. That was the one where the R came out.
That's right.
Well, that's cool. I love Pollo Reggio. I really like when you go inside and they have like the salsa bar, and there's like so many good salsas and the pickled onions, and I ate like the pickled onions just by themselves, and they're like, you need to stop eating out of the salad bar or the salsa bar, sir.
So you're giving everyone COVID.
Yeah. So I can't go back to Pollo Reggio, unfortunately.
You can go back to that one.
That's true. They are a chain, so I will go back to one across town.
But I think it's local, like pretty local.
Right. But there's still multiple like locations that you could go to.
Yeah, for sure. They only know me at one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I got like 7 more that I can eat those onions at without, running dry.
Do it. All right. How about you, Rhodes?
I have been all over. I have been to Tipsy Oak for brunch, swung by Legal Draft for their Locktoberfest last Saturday. That was fun. Where else did I go? Grounds and Gold. I will be talking to them coming up. That is an amazing coffee place. Again, if you haven't been there, swing by. Their message is incredible. Can't wait to actually talk to them. And then I actually sat down and ate at Jambo's today and talked to Paul, the owner. Absolutely amazing conversation about the history of the building, history of the company. And there was a train that went by while we were upstairs, and so that will be an audio joy for everyone.
It'll be an audio Easter egg. What did you eat at Jambo's?
I just had the sliced brisket. Very good.
Yeah.
I'd had their sauce also, but I put it on the side just in case I didn't need it. And, if you want to dip it in there, you can. You don't really need to.
That's what I did when I eat the brisket. Like, I got it on the side to dip every once in a while, but most of the time you don't need it, so it's all good.
Yeah, if they make it good enough, you don't need it.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Are pretty good, and they have white cheddar mac and cheese as opposed to regular mac and cheese.
Oh, fancy. Fancy.
My kid asked you to pick her up some crawfish. So they don't have crawfish.
They definitely do not. Or she also thought that they had.
She, for some reason, assumed a place called Jambo's would have crawfish.
Sure, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
demanded that Rhodey pick her up some crawfish.
It's a barbecue place. Yeah, but I want the crawfish.
Yeah.
Right. There was several iterations of teaching her please.
Yeah.
And then we found out that they don't even have crawfish, so it was irrelevant anyway.
But it was
like
lesson of how to ask someone nicely. Hey, while you're there, you mind picking this up for me, please?
Exactly.
Look at that. Learning things about not only what our restaurants don't have, but how to ask for it nicely. You know, teaching moments.
Uncle Rhodey, killing it.
So I guess if you're a barbecue place, maybe look into crawfish.
Yeah, there's a market out there. At least one person is looking for it.
I mean, I would if they had calamari on a barbecue menu, I might check it out.
Yeah, second choice calamari.
Yeah. Daryl, where did you go?
Yeah.
Oh man, I finally got out of my house.
Yay!
But it was outside because I'm still
makes sense.
I'm still leery of COVID, as I think rightfully everyone should be. And I went to Hurtado. My wife and I went to the patio, and we had some bomb-ass tacos and tostadas.
Yum.
The brisket taco dripped just goodness out of the bottom. It was really the fat and the oil, but it was delicious. It was they put some salsa verde on it. And I haven't had a lot of salsa verde on tacos, but I was like, you know what? Let it ride. Let's see how they do things here. And it was delicious. It was so good.
Sometimes you got to roll that dice.
And I did. I was thinking of you whenever I was like, what would Rhodey do in this situation? You know what? He would let it ride.
He always does. Yeah, we're going to order some this weekend. Because we've been craving it.
It was as good as you remember, I promise.
Yeah. At least once a week, one of us has it, if not all of us. Yeah. And so, yeah, we're definitely ordering.
Yeah, I went to Jambo's and I was like, oh, wait, they don't have a elote. Duh. That's only Hurtado. They're not going to.
But Jambo's was good still, right?
Yeah, Jambo's still pretty good. Yes, check it out.
Which location was it, though?
This was on Division Street, which is the building, Bankhead Highway. You will hear
the old Arlington Steakhouse.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is actually the oldest continuously running restaurant in Arlington.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, or that building.
The history. Yeah. That because I think that that ties into some of the top of the hill terrace stuff too. That was kind of like the place that they went after they gave each other money at the casino and whatnot.
Yeah, either
gambled.
They would
looking for that word.
Grab some food. And also, where the trains would actually, back in the day, they would carry people as opposed to just equipment now. But they stopped there and would eat and then sometimes stay and then continue their day next day.
I also heard they had some card games of their own at the upstairs in the Arlington Steakhouse.
I may or may not have conducted the interview on a card table. So,
See?
Not the card table, but a
sure.
friendly card table game. Yes.
Yeah.
It would be like almost 100 years old if it was the same card table.
The place would be a museum at that point.
That's fair.
Well, someday stay tuned for our Top of the Hill Terrace episode.
Yes. That might be.
We've been sitting on that. It's going to be really cool when it's done.
All right, we are here with Taylor Loudermilk from Maggie's Farm. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Heard you were at a farmer's market before this?
Yes, sir. So, it's Cowtown Farmer's Market. It's every Saturday. So.
Where in Fort Worth is that?
It's off the traffic circle off 183.
Okay.
So it's every Saturday from 8 to noon, unless just it's hailing or something like that. So,
Weather
permitting.
permitting.
Yeah.
So I guess, the first question is, what is Maggie's Farm?
It is my wife's and I's business plan. We wanted to turn our crunchy granola, like hippie kind of life, into a business. And so we were both teachers, but both like really avid gardeners. And then we're like, hey, we don't like that people don't know where their food comes from.
Yeah.
Or it's like I don't like these ingredients that I see, or just something like that. And so we wanted to be more in touch with food, and then also not have it be so wasteful.
Right.
And so we just kind of made a decision, and we're like, hey, let's start our own farm. And then we could use that for like other things, because as we expand, we want to do like install garden beds and edible landscaping. And then my wife wants to eventually do like more sustainable cooking classes and things like that. So
that would be incredible.
Just trying to have good food and then make the world a little bit better place at the same time.
Right.
So
yeah, don't they say that if you're eating the food that is grown in the area that you are living, it's better for you?
It is. You're going to have some more like allergy resistance with pollen and stuff like that. And it's just, it's local ingredients too. I mean, I'm sure like pineapples from Mexico are pretty healthy, but it's just, it feels better too.
Yeah,
So,
right, exactly.
like,
Yeah. Also, you don't have to worry about that transition of travel.
Yeah, I mean, travel is a big deal when you're talking about food, because a lot of our food is grown in like California and like other parts of the country, and then trucked here. But when you have a situation like this, or even like my backyard garden, you know, like you're eating the food locally, and it's more sustainable because it's not traveling over, you know, hundreds of miles to get to you. It's you're eating it as it's fresh, as opposed to
it has an opportunity to ripen,
like the way it's supposed to, not the way that, you know, we put it in the refrigerated truck and then like it ripens on the way over here or whatever.
Right.
So, what are your plans? You kind of touched on it. What is your plan for the expansion of Maggie's Farm? What do you see in the future?
We're gonna move from Arlington to Burleson in probably a month or 2 months. It's just we needed. Well, we can't have
interview's over. I'm so sorry.
We can't have the number of chickens we want or pigs in Arlington, and so we're getting almost 2 acres there to have more of an animal operation and our planting operation there. Because right now I'm leasing the farm field, which it works great, but just a 10-20 minute commute each way. Just really it's kind of puts a drag on some things. So just to be able to expand, we need to like live where we can farm, and also the new house will be a lot closer to our other farm too.
Right.
So
you have multiple farms.
Well, it'll be in transition, so we'll have one leased, the one I'm leasing now, for a few more years. But once everything's permanently set up at my new place, we'll cancel the lease.
Nice.
Okay. Do you have a pig farm?
A pig farm? No, we'll just have 2 pigs that we'll just raise for ourselves. But we also hopefully this time next year, we could have farm to table dinners at our new house. So
Very nice.
we'll raise our own animals to have there. So.
Wow.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing to grow on Maggie's Farm?
Or favorite things. It's fine to have more than one.
Yeah, you can have more than one.
I really like arugula. It's really easy. It's one of the few things that's growing in summers.
Yep.
Right.
It's essentially like foolproof to grow. You just put it in the ground, you spray it with water, and it comes up.
Right.
I also like tomatoes. Okra was really cool, but I just had to pull mine out. I had root rot, but that just comes with big games, so whatever.
Speaking of arugula, I have arugula that I actually, I bought the seeds from the store or whatever, and then I let one of my plants go to seed. Like we actually kind of talked about a little bit, and I got so many arugula seeds from that one plant. Like I have those little, like a little envelope for the seed pack, and it's probably almost all the way full from one plant. And now I've planted since it does very well in the heat. I've planted like 6 more plants, and like they're just growing like crazy. Like you said, it's super easy to grow. I'm literally just watering it. I put a little compost on top of it every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's going great. Wow. Come snip off some for some salads. It's perfect.
And it grows back too. That's cool, because one plant will get me multiple harvests. So.
Very nice.
When you get irritated with your garden, do you say, I ain't going to work on Maggie's Farm no more?
I might use a few different words maybe I won't say here, but yeah. Yes, I do.
Is that the inspiration for the name, or was there some other?
Yeah, because my wife is named Maggie.
Okay. That would make sense.
So it had nothing to do with Bob Dylan.
A little bit,
Okay.
yeah. Because I mean, she's a very, very hard worker, and I love having her on my team. But sometimes I'm just like, let's stop and like sit down or rest or something. So go. But no, and every now and then, just as a joke, it's fun.
Right. That's the first thing she said whenever I said that we were going to interview you. So talking about Arlington and bringing it back to food here. We have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings. I've gotten all the pizza questions today.
All week, all day.
It's been really random. It's so weird.
we have a tournament. It's called Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find out the best pizza place in Arlington. Do you have a favorite pizza place here?
I really don't. Let's see. I ordered from Prespa's Old School Pizza as well.
That's
we
literally where we were walking from.
I try to go local as much as possible.
Right.
And then, Via Italia. That's kind of good because, like, my wife can get some kind of, like, Asian food, and I can get pizza, and my little girl can get egg rolls or something like that.
What is the place?
Via Italia.
Where is that?
I think I've heard about
It's
it.
off, like, Cooper and,
They have
Bench.
Vietnamese and Italian food?
and burgers and stuff.
Huh.
It's, you know where the Motel 6 is off Cooper and I think Bench?
No,
And
I've never
BNG?
been there.
It's right there. So,
I'm just kidding.
okay.
I didn't realize what was happening.
wait,
Yeah,
right
I was
now.
like, what's going on right
Yeah,
now?
no, I do know where it is.
I've been up since 3:30. I'm a little...
Oh, wow.
Okay, so for people starting their own farm in their backyard, what advice do you have for them?
Or garden.
I would say start small and then work your way up. And then make it fun because point of gardening is to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And just if you make it a headache, you're not gonna like it. So
Right.
I would say start small, find stuff that you want to grow, and then just build it up from there.
Yeah, I mean, from my own experience, I had a relatively big garden when I lived in Northwestern Hills, and it was hard. It was like my first garden, and I was like, "There's a lot of stuff here, and it's a lot of work, and like it's hot, and like I don't know if I want to do this." So I moved out of there, and I didn't have my own place again with a backyard that I could actually do it in for a while. And then I did start small, and I've been able to grow on that ever since then. You know, I started like last year I did some lettuce. And then this year I did cucumbers, I did lettuce, I did arugula, I did tomatoes. Now I've used the cucumbers to make pickles and like sun-dried tomatoes, and I think it's like a building block almost to like something bigger and more. And now I'm got plans for even bigger stuff in the front yard next year and stuff like that. So that's absolutely perfect advice.
Yeah, I would say because it's kind of like learning math or a language. You got to get your basics down before you can go more advanced.
Right.
And that's probably a mistake a lot of novices make. They immediately buy like orchids.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're like, I'm gonna do this, and then it dies. You get frustrated.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I was trying to grow watermelons the first time I ever gardened, and I got a watermelon about the size of my hand, and I was like, I got this. And then it immediately died afterwards because the vine like rotted out, and I was like, I didn't know what was going on either, and I was like, oh man, I suck at gardening, and like, so it kind of turned me off. And then as I slowed down and kind of pulled back and did it on a more like I did a more evened it out more instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna go for broke right now. So
yeah. Well, and it's like, hey, let's grow strawberries in the summertime. No one else has them, and there's a reason no one else has them.
Right.
Because they don't grow. So like lots of people do stuff like that
Right.
too.
you kind of have to
Go
like
out of
get in
season.
touch with like figure out like when you can, especially like here in Texas. Like we are pretty blessed. I think sometimes we can grow some things in the fall. We can grow some things in the spring. But summer is tough. Like you can literally grow like 4 things. You can grow jalapenos and you can grow arugula.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Tomatoes.
Melons. And
My tomatoes have they took this heat and they were like, we're done. We are
Really?
out of here with this.
keep the plant alive, and they'll make again. once
That's
it
what
cools down,
I've started trimming it back and in hopes of in the fall, kind of getting some more flowers and more tomatoes out of it.
I think we're going to see more of that now with people growing their own stuff in their backyard. Is that we're so used to being like, okay, I can get this all year long, but that's because you're getting it at a big store. If you're actually growing it in your backyard, there are seasons, and you do have to be very cautious and conscious as to what is going on and what isn't going on. So, if people wanted to find out more about Maggie's Farm, where can they do so?
We're on Facebook and Instagram under Maggie's Farm TX, but we also have a website, maggiesfarmtx.com.
Okay.
Just little FYI, there is a marijuana dispensary called Maggie's Farm in Colorado. We are not affiliated or anything like that. So if you see like marijuana products, you're on the wrong website.
Gotcha.
So point of
Make sure you put the TX in
The
there.
TX, yeah.
Right.
very important.
Come
very
on,
important.
kids. Let's try to find some vegetables.
It's an entirely different type of farming.
Close your eyes.
So, and we're on those. And then also Cowtown Farmers Market every Saturday. So we're out there too.
You've also where else do you sell at? Some other
in
places.
the Pantigos Farmers Market. So
Right.
that's once a month in Bicentennial Park. So there'll be one next week.
Right.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
Saturday.
Weather permitting.
We used to go to those in the before times pretty
Before
often.
COVID.
At New Main.
Right, when I was at New Maine, we loved going there. We
fun.
met a lot of people, really cool people there.
It's not only is it cool to be able to buy like food and goods from people, but it's also a really great networking, and it's nice to be like it's community. It feels like a good community.
Yeah, we've met a ton of really cool people there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Maybe next time if you come, you could bring your wife, and we can talk about more gardening and stuff.
Maybe we can actually make it out to Taylor or Maggie's farm.
Yeah, y'all are always welcome. So she's really big on bread making.
Yes,
so
I've seen that.
Oh,
it looks delicious.
Amy
so you
was
guys
too,
sell
and
the
it
bread?
was,
Yeah, I did.
When Corona happened.
Yeah, and I bought a surplus of flour and then stopped making bread.
There's a lot of flour at the house.
There's so much. There's like 12 pounds of flour at the house.
Only?
You're like amateurs.
I mean, you go through it if you're actually making the bread real quick. But it takes all day.
It's a process. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm going to do that again.
Okay, go ahead.
Do it.
There we are.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Here with Michael Gruber, the music director, DJ for almost every one of your DFW sports teams. How are you today, sir?
I'm very good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. So for those that don't know, could you give us a brief history as to who Michael Gruber is?
Oh, gosh. So I first started off working at Sports Radio 1310, or I guess Sports Radio 96.7, the ticket, back as a 16-year-old intern, and started running the audio board on weekends, and then became the board operator for the Noon to 3 show, which was Bob and Dan at the time, and a couple years later became full-time, taking over the afternoon drive show, the hard line, and was at the ticket for a total of 10 years.
Wow.
And left at 26 to try to go back to college. That flamed out pretty quickly, but I got lucky to pick up a couple jobs working as the music director / DJ at the Dallas Stars and the audio board at Fox Sports Southwest. From there, kind of got opportunities to be the Mavericks DJ for a season and still fill in for them a few times a year. Also worked with the Rough Riders as the ambassador of fun, and took over as the in-game DJ last year. I'm guessing that when the Rough Riders come back, I probably won't be able to do that because, as you said, I'm now the music director for the Rangers.
All right. So, like you just said, you are with the Texas Rangers now. How is it working with legendary Chuck Morgan? What do you think you've learned from him, and what do you think you maybe have taught him?
Oh, I haven't taught him anything. I don't know anything. He has seen more than I ever could imagine. Chuck is a legend. I've told people that he's been my hero since I first became a Rangers fan. Before I knew who he was or what exactly his job entailed, I just knew that I love that guy's voice and I love whoever is playing the music, and it turned out to be the same guy. And Chuck is he's been an amazing friend for years, and now being something closer to a mentor and a coworker, I cannot say enough good things about Chuck.
So you've gone from rocking the American Airlines Center with roughly 18,000 fans, and now you're rocking an empty house. What has that transition been like?
It is weird. So I really obviously was not expecting that to be a part of my first year with the team. Thankfully, having the experience that I've got, about a little more than 18 years total, running a radio board, a TV board, music for sports, and just kind of being good at timing things and all that. This feels kind of like a master class that I don't really want to take, but that I'm enjoying. Providing the crowd noise has been surreal. And there have absolutely been times where, I'm a lifelong Rangers fan and something good will happen on the field and I'll be literally cheering myself. And then all of a sudden realize, oh no, I've got to provide the crowd noise too to show how exciting this is. And there have been moments of hitting cheer a little too late because maybe I didn't fully catch that, something truly exciting happened because I was looking down trying to find a piece of music or something like that. But if anyone has to do it, I'm thankful to be getting the opportunity, but I definitely cannot wait for fans to come back because it truly makes a difference. I try to replicate the crowd as best as possible and build up exciting moments. And, for those watching it at home on TV, I hope it sounds close, but again, it's I know it's nothing like the real thing.
Obviously. Yeah, I've watched some games, and I mean, it's just weird in general not having fans there, but also just like having the piped in the crowd noise. You're just kind of like, I mean, I get what they're doing, but it's still weird just because it's fake and you want the real thing, but we can't have it. So
yeah, it's I know that there are some people that are just adamantly against it and just hate it, and thankfully I think we've converted a few of those people to at least accept that, hey, if we have to do this, it doesn't sound bad, but I fully accept that it's something that none of us want. But I'm doing my best to make it sound as good as possible. And I also know that when fans do come back, my job is going to feel about 100 times easier because it's definitely not a real job compared to what other people are doing. But it's a decent amount of extra work to take on that, again, was not expected. But it's I still get to go to a ballpark every day and cheer on my favorite team, and no complaints here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a forever thing. It's just a for now thing. So I think, as much as we want actual fans to be there, for right now, we're at least still getting our sports played. So, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And, part of the reason for doing the crowd noise, like, I know when this was all first going on, there was talk of, do we just run it silently? Do we do it like the NBA where there's music going the whole way through? And we tried doing both of those things during our like preseason scrimmages and inter-squad games. And the no crowd noise felt really weird. One player said it felt like they were playing in a morgue, and the running music the whole time, that was too weird, because that's even more unnatural. So
right.
Being able to get crowd noise from EA Sports, from MLB The Show, and then me being able to pick out ushers or vendors and random other Rangers chants, let's go Rangers, and stuff like that from previous games that we were able to get the field mic audio from. We're at least trying to make it sound as much like a Rangers game as possible, but again, that's never gonna replicate the real thing.
Right, exactly. So you've touched on when you were with the ticket, you got very famous for being quick on sound bites, music, all of that, and you've transitioned that over to the Stars, and you did this. I mean, I'm sure you honed your craft there, and then you moved it on to the Rangers. Do you have kind of a bed as to go-tos when it comes to audio drops, comedy, that kind of stuff, and then also music, or is it just kind of something that triggers in your mind no matter what's happening? Is it kind of one of those situations, or how does that even play out?
Yeah, I try not to have defaults, I try not to just be like, oh, this situation happened, so I always play this. I try to change things up, but there are certain songs and drops that just sometimes the easy choice is the right choice, like working Stars games. I know I love playing Enter Sandman by Metallica. If we're near the end of a game and leading, and it's got the perfect mix of, it's heavy, it's a sing-along, everybody knows it. With the Rangers, I haven't quite picked out quote-unquote defaults yet, but I think that'll come obviously when we actually get fans in and can kind of pick up again on what they're really singing along to. But I also know that, again, being a lifelong Rangers fan, I know the songs Chuck likes to play. I know the songs that I liked hearing when I was at the games. And yeah, I think overall, just for whatever reason, timing audio out to entertain people is this weird niche skill that I've somehow been able to kind of translate to all these different work environments, but I really can't explain it other than instead of really paying attention in class, I was generally listening to the ticket or watching Rangers games or reading about, things that Chuck did, and just that became my class instead of actual class.
No, that makes sense. I mean, Local Legends Pantera are always a good one to go to, I believe. So.
Oh, yeah. I love using Cowboys from Hell to come back to the ice for the second or third period. Mm-hmm. They're so heavy, and Pantera is just such a rocking band, and the fact that they're such Dimebag and Vinnie Paul were such Stars fans and Rangers fans. Chuck has always played Cowboys from Hell and Domination, whenever the Rangers scored, and Walk, obviously, when the Rangers get a walk. So Pantera is just, such a perfect band for sports.
Right, exactly. So going the other way with music, you became a little infamous for playing Nickelback during a Vancouver game against the Stars. Was there anything you played, or like audio-wise, sound drop-wise, music-wise, that they asked, maybe don't do that one again?
Gosh, I think there's always been, certain songs that maybe I liked that maybe I would play too often. So my director of game presentation with the Stars would say, hey, maybe, hold that one off for a few games, or, occasionally don't play that again if I just was maybe using it too much, or it just didn't fit like I thought it did. But, thankfully I've been given a pretty good amount of latitude with all my work, whether it's, the Ticket Stars, Rangers, Mavs, Rough Riders, to kind of explore boundaries and kind of push the presentation to keep it sounding as fresh as possible. But I've also had great coworkers that are awesome collaborators, and I've always been able to get really great fan feedback, whether it's the P1s at the Ticket, or again the fans of any of the teams that I've worked for. I've always just being the dork that I am, been on the internet too dang much. Sorry.
You can cuss it.
But okay. Just I've always been lucky that fans have had no problem reaching out to me because they know that I will listen. And, sometimes they'll say, hey, that song, I don't really like that song. But most of the time they say, hey, I like that song, so maybe you'll also like this. And it's just been a nice kind of collaboration between me and my coworkers and the fans. And, the nice thing about DFW Sports is people have no problem saying what they like and they don't like, but we're also pretty great about kind of creating foundations of traditions. And, if you go to a Rangers game, you know that you're going to hear Cotton Eye Joe during the 7th inning stretch. And with the Dallas Stars, that Pantera is going to be heard. And that might be kind of a long way to go around with the Nickelback question. But, the point is I've been lucky, and I know some other DJs maybe haven't been as lucky as me to have that latitude. And I try not to abuse it or take advantage of it. But I also feel that I've kind of built up a level of trust because I truly am a fan of the places that I've worked with. I was a P1 before I started working at the Ticket. I've been a Rangers fan all my life, and I wasn't maybe a diehard Stars fan when I started working for them, but I've absolutely become one. I'm watching every game. I'm actually, getting a better and better understanding of hockey in general as each season has gone by, and I've just been very lucky to kind of have the latitude that I've gotten. So again, apologies for rambling, but I think you kind of knew that going in, that I'm not the most professional speaker.
I have had to become one due to podcasts, so you're doing great. I have no problems with that whatsoever. So you mentioned that you're still watching the Stars, and you're very active on Twitter, which is great, but you're getting...
I don't know about that.
Wow. Some people might be great. You're getting flack from people saying, hey, you're with the Rangers now. Why are you watching the Stars? And it's like, wait a minute, I have a remote control. Why can't I do both?
Yeah, it's people don't quite understand the concept of the recall button on the remote control, but no, it's I think it's more playful than anything. People know that I'm just a sports fan in general, and especially of our DFW teams. There have been a couple times where the Stars, Mavs, and Rangers have all been playing. Sunday was potentially a cornucopia of, all the teams going, and then it turned out that the Cowboys kind of just made it into an infomercial, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's their fault. I think it's McCarthy just doesn't want the team's roster really being fully seen yet, which is totally fair. But yeah, it's been a weird time for sports fans lately. But I got to say, for about a month or two, having Rangers, Stars, and Mavs all playing at the same time again, it kind of almost felt like normal, because I joked about it on Twitter that after 4 months of no sports, we pretty quickly got back into the mode of complaining about playoff game start times and how bad our teams are playing if they're losing, but then if they're winning, then everything is awesome again. Which, look, I'm guilty of that too. So
I mean,
I'm definitely not criticizing, but it's just the good thing about humans, I guess, is that we're pretty adaptable. We can pretty quickly get used to our teams being playing again, and occasionally being annoyed with them again.
Right, exactly. So we have a segment on the show called Terminator Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. What's your favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Gosh, I don't honestly think I have one quite yet.
Well, where do you live? Are you in Dallas?
Yeah, I live in Dallas, pretty much near the AAC for frame of reference.
Well, then what's your favorite pizza place out there?
Yeah, I love is it Neo's? I should know, since it really is great pizza.
Is that the one right up the street from the AAC?
Yeah.
Nice little corner spot.
Yeah, I just love their pizza, and of course I'm pretty basic. I'll usually just get a cheese or a pepperoni, but them, and when I'm feeling a little fancier, Connie Rosso is just insanely good. The honey bastard, which is just fun to say anyway, but that's probably the best pizza I've ever had. Yeah, I'd say Connie Rosso, now that I'm really thinking about it.
Well, we got one opening up here in Arlington, I think later this month, from what I'm hearing. So,
that's not good for my waistline.
Well, I mean, it's not far from you either. It's going to be right across from Hurtado, Legal Draft, Cartel,
wow.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome and exciting to know. I'll definitely have a pre or post game spot to hit up.
Well, let me know, and I'll meet you over there.
Yeah, let's party.
Awesome.
Pizza party.
So if people want to follow you on social media and maybe give you suggestions as to songs they want to hear, or maybe drops, how can they do so?
Well, I actually have it in my profile. It says don't follow me because my tweets are very bad. But for the record, people, you don't have to follow me. But if you do have suggestions or ideas, or if you don't like what I'm doing, I welcome all feedback. You can reach me at tweetgrubes at Twitter. So, tweet TWEET Grubes. GRUBES. That I use the same handle on Instagram, where I pretty much don't post anything. I'm unintentionally a bit of a stalker.
Okay. A voyeur, if you will.
Yes, that might actually be a better term. I just, I don't think my pictures are very interesting, but I'm very happy when other people post the awesome things that they're doing, because they're living more exciting lives than I am. So I'd say those are generally the best two ways. Email is always a good thing too. Groobs1310@gmail.com. I'm pretty good about replying to Twitter and email the best. So if anybody has anything they want to suggest, I'm all ears.
Perfect. And yeah, we can set up that pizza party anytime you want. And I appreciate your time, sir. And I'll let you get back to doing what you're doing.
Absolutely, John. Really awesome talking with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much to our guest this week, Taylor Loudermilk from Maggie's Farm. What a great interview that was. He and his wife are doing really great work here. Please check them out. Mm-hmm. Michael Gruber, alongside with Chuck Morgan, What a great episode with the Dallas Stars and all the sports. We have amazing things happening here in our city. I just love this episode. And
make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and
go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.